Starting us off in at number 10, Sonic and All-Stars Racing. Regardless of the fact that a Sonic racing game that takes place in race cars is kind of redundant as far as the Blue Blur Speedster is concerned, Sega released a game back in 2010. It was called Sonic and All-Stars Racing, and it featured a bunch of Sega characters also joining Sonic's anthropomorphic and robotic pals for some racing shenanigans. On top of that, Sega also crammed in some properties that it didn't own but were licensed for the game, including characters from Football Manager, Team Fortress 2, and Shogun Total War. As you can tell, those are kind of slightly weird choices that felt like the game was overcompensating. Regardless, those who are fans of the Sonic franchise generally really enjoyed the game, along with its follow-up, the much better Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, which at least added some other mechanics to the title to spice it up. Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe. Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe is, well, quite obviously, if the title didn't give it away, a crossover between Mortal Kombat and the DC Universe. It's a fighting game, published by Midway Games in 2008, right before the company went bankrupt. The story is as follows. In their respective universes, Raiden and Superman are fighting off invasions that trigger the merging of Shao Kahn and Darkseid, creating Dark Kahn. The villain causes the universes themselves to merge, an event that will ultimately destroy them both. Despite the slightly odd pairing of universes, the game did receive fairly decent reviews, being called surprisingly enjoyable and fun, despite its ludicrous content. Many see this title though as a decade-late response to the Marvel vs. Capcom game, which is kinda hard to get over. In at number 8, Battletoads Double Dragon. This 1993 beat-em-up crossover developed by Rare is one of the more ludicrous and earlier video game crossovers ever. Featuring Billy and Jimmy Lee from Double Dragon and all 3 of the humanoid Toad characters from Battletoads, players could choose to play as one of those 5 protagonists in a game that was very similar to Battletoads in mechanics. It's a side-scroller that features a boss at the end of every level that you must defeat. Funny enough, despite being super bizarre, the game got rave reviews, and was even nominated for a bunch of awards at the Nintendo Power Awards. Moving on to number 7, Soul Calibur 2. Soul Calibur 2 isn't as much of a crossover game as it is a game that features some pretty stellar characters from other universes making exclusive appearances. Now depending on what console you were playing it on, you got an exclusive character specific to that console. For example, if you're playing on GameCube, it was Link from The Legend of Zelda. For the PS2 is Tekken Star Heihachi, and for the Xbox it was Spawn. Xbox didn't have a whole lot of exclusive characters back then. Now each of these characters were specifically crafted to fit into the Soul Calibur world, rather than just being tossed in for marketing's sake, and were even given their own stories in the game's main campaign. That detail went a long way. The game got rave reviews and even won the Fighting Game of the Year from the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences, and the award for the most addictive game from the Game Awards' predecessor, the Spike Video Game Awards, back in 2002. In at number 6, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. One of the more recent games on our list, Kingdom Battle is a turn-based tactical RPG. It was co-developed by Nintendo and Ubisoft, and features their respected properties Mario and Raving Rabbids. You play as Mario, his pals, and Rabbids dressed up as Mario and his friends, all while dealing with an invasion of a group of Rabbids who have accidentally used a powerful invention to wreak chaos across the Mushroom Kingdom. The game received a lot of positive reviews and it even won a handful of awards and nominations, including Best Strategy Game in IGN's Best of 2017 awards. And at number 5, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. All-Stars Battle Royale was PlayStation's attempt at creating a crossover fighting game in the similar vein as another certain gaming giant's star franchise, one that we'll be talking about a little later on. This game though, which came out in 2012, features the likes of various characters from PlayStation exclusives and titles, including Kratos, Nathan Drake, Dante from Devil May Cry, Raiden from Metal Gear, Sly Cooper, Ratchet & Clank, and Heihachi from Tekken. The game had mixed reviews with critics praising its fighting and multiplayer mechanics, but ultimately feeling it felt short in terms of content and poor cutscenes, and that the roster of characters were chosen purely for marketing purposes, rather than their appropriateness for a fighting title. I mean, Nathan Drake can sure kick butt in Uncharted, but he doesn't really seem like the kind of fella you'd pin up against Kratos now, does he? And at number 4, Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. Mario and Sonic. Two video gaming icons that have always been rivals. Sonic was actually created by Sega in order to compete with the success that Nintendo was having with Mario. So naturally a rivalry occurred, not only between the two icons, but between the fans. Now that rivalry was slightly put to rest when it was announced that a Mario and Sonic crossover game would be coming out, featuring characters from both famous franchises. And it's Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. The game was a hit amongst fans, and it resulted in many other Olympic sequel games too, based on whatever Olympics were going on at the time. But ask any Mario or Sonic fan who is better and they'll probably still tell you that their favorite is So much for burying the hatchet there. And at number 3, the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise. The first Marvel vs. Capcom game came out in 1996, initially starting off as a coin-operated arcade game, and it was called X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Later, it would venture over to consoles, allowing players to fight with characters from the Marvel Comics universe and characters from Capcom's roster of properties with its other sequel games. Now, rather than just single combat, the series used a tag team style of battle, where players formed teams of 2 or 3 characters, controlling one at a time, but with the option to switch out. There has been a total of 7 titles in the franchise, all of which have earned generally positive reviews, minus the earlier game's PlayStation ports, which suffered from a decline in frame rate and animation quality due to the original PlayStation having RAM limitations. Aside from that, they're really fun games. And at number 2, Kingdom Hearts. From one franchise to the next, let's move on to Kingdom Hearts, Disney and Square Enix's collaboration RPG crossover. Kingdom Hearts takes place in a fictional universe tailored specifically to the narrative of the games. With over 15 years of games, the series' emphasis on the power of friendship is one of the reasons why it's so successful. They boast themes that are incredibly relevant to the Final Fantasy and Disney properties that appear within the franchise, making it easier for the narratives to connect everyone together. Plus that the narratives are, particularly written for the games kinda goes a long way instead of, just cramming stuff in. Kingdom Hearts 3, which will be released in 2019, is the latest addition to the franchise, and it includes the likes of Final Fantasy characters, Toy Story characters, Pirates of the Caribbean characters, Disney classics like Donald Duck and Goofy, characters from Monsters Inc., Frozen, Hercules, Tangled, Big Hero 6, Winnie the Pooh, The Little Mermaid, The Lion King, Wreck-It Ralph, and many more. Plus the series protagonist Sora will be back too. And finally, in at number 1, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Super Smash Bros. Is the ultimate crossover video game franchise. No pun intended. But its latest title, Ultimate, really emphasizes that by including every single character that has ever been featured as a fighter in the entire Smash series. Now this is by far one of the greatest games created for the Nintendo Switch. It's complex, and developers have spent a whole lot of time paying attention to the details, and specifically tweaking, nerfing, and buffing every single character in order to ensure the quality of the game is exceptional. It's also upped its game by making everything faster, from speeding up various aspects of the battles, like the final smashes and taunts, so the emphasis of the game is more offensive rather than defensive, and doesn't lag during any moments. There's a total of 74 playable fighters in the game, with new ones coming from series like Castlevania, Pokemon, Splatoon, Donkey Kong, Street Fighter, Metroid, and more. Plus with DLCs, more stages and characters will be revealed, meaning the game has a very promising future in terms of replayability.
In at 10, Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is the 12th and latest installment of the Kingdom Hearts series, released by Square Enix for the PS4 and Xbox One. It serves as a conclusion to the Darkseeker saga that began with the original game. This game features an ungodly amount of characters. Disney characters like Woody, Buzz Lightyear, Sully, Mike Wazowski, Flynn Rider, Rapunzel, and more appear in this game. Not to mention the Frozen cast, Baymax, Winnie the Pooh and his gang, and the Squeeze toy aliens from Toy Story. They also make an appearance too. While the crossover itself may be an odd choice, the game received favorable reviews, getting consistently 8 out of 10, with the exception of VideoGamer.com, who gave the game a 4 out of 10, citing that the game's plot is incomprehensible. Despite this, the game was the top-selling game in North America for January of 2019, and the third top-selling game in February of 2019, exceeding the sales of Kingdom Hearts 2 by over 80%. Over 5 million copies were sold by February 4th, making it the fastest selling title in the series. So despite it being a little unconventional, it was still a smash hit. Number 9, Disney Infinity. Disney Infinity was Disney's attempt at a Skylander-style video game. They pumped this thing out on everything: Windows, PS3, PS4, Wii U, Xbox 360, Xbox One, and even Apple TV, for God's sake. With 3.0, they managed to combine all their universes together to create a game with a rich story, in-depth combat, and so many characters and figures that you literally had to dedicate a dresser to this thing. There are more figures in this game than characters in Kingdom Hearts 3, and it is a story game, a sandbox game, and a racing game. This thing is so confused, it's Trisha Paytas' relationship status. It doesn't know if it's single, with Jason, with someone else, or marrying Jason Momoa, or a cardboard cutout of Brad Pitt. Nobody really expected Disney to make a Skylanders game, but of course they did. It's Disney and they want as close to a monopoly as they can legally get. Sure, the game received positive reviews, but this is more than that. This is a matter of principle. Disney, stop it. Get some help. And it ain't like a rock band. Why? This game is honestly the most cash-grabby, kid-targeted game I have ever seen. Released in North America on November 3rd, 2009, LEGO Rock Band is the weirdest crossover of gaming genres ever. It's literally Rock Band, but with LEGO characters. Up until this point, we hadn't seen rock stars or musicians in LEGO sets unless they were a part of a fantasy or sci-fi setting. The game was for families, and thus every song was hand-picked. You could also download songs from other Rock Band games, but they would be passed through a family-friendly filter, so you couldn't go off and make a LEGO character call you a yellow jacket motherfucker. This game contained some LEGO aspects, but was basically a glorified Rock Band game to make more money off the franchise before it was reduced to an arcade game at Dave & Buster's. The game received moderate reviews, but I feel as if it should have gotten shut down before production started. Nobody expected this. Hell, nobody wanted this. I don't know one person who enjoyed LEGO Rock Band. If you did, please tell me why in the comments, because I don't know, and I don't know if I'll ever understand the appeal. This is a worse cash grab than Cars 3. Yeah, I said it. And at 7, Sonic Lost World. The Legend of Zelda Zone is a DLC zone exclusive to the Wii U version of Sonic Lost World. Using this DLC, you can explore Hyrule with Sonic, dressed in a green tunic and hat. The rings are replaced with rubies, which turn into saved animals after being collected. This is weirder than Sonic and Mario at the Olympic Games. Link and Sonic have never interacted outside of the Smash Bros. Games to my knowledge, and the fact that Sonic can just straight up go to Hyrule after not speaking to Link is kinda nuts. This was for sure something I wasn't expecting, and I guess the devs didn't either, since it only got released on the Wii U version and that's it. The amount of effort that would have gone into this is not worth it for a one console release. And at 6, Fortnite X Superheroes. When Fortnite X Avengers and the endgame variant rolled out, the game completely changed. Players were meant to work together to take down the player who had assumed the role of Thanos. In the endgame version, you were dropped into a map with 3 times health, looking for an Avenger weapon to fight against the villain team, or if you were on the villain team, fight against the heroes. The original crossover was not expected, and it completely threw me for a loop. The endgame one was more expected since they had already done it before, but making poor sweet Korg play this game? Why, Marvel? Why? But after a Rift Zone had converted Tilted Towers into a mini Gotham City, we got an even more unexpected combination: Fortnite x Batman. You were able to unlock new skins, items, cosmetics, and challenges based on Batman and his cohorts. Some of these challenges included: deal 250 damage to opponents with an explosive batarang, light up 3 different bat signals outside of Gotham City, use a Batman grapnel gun in 3 different matches, defuse Joker gas canisters found in 3 different named locations, deal any damage to opponents within 30 seconds of using a Batman grapnel gun, and light a bat signal, use a Batman grapnel gun, and deal any damage with any explosive batarang. The reward for completing them was a Catwoman glider. That's it. What? And at 5, NBA Streets. NBA Street v3. Not really the most likely video game to see Mario and the crew, right? Well, in this game, you can answer the question we've all been dying to know for years. Who would win in a 3-on-3 basketball pickup game? Miami Heat or Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach? You thought Mario Tennis was ridiculous? B, you haven't even seen Mario hitting 3-pointers like an absolute G. Mario is so ballin' he's Kawhi Leonard. This game is so utterly ridiculous that it's honestly laughable. This was probably due to a deal that EA had with Nintendo, where EA would include Nintendo characters in some of their games. So maybe that's why it's so bizarre. They didn't want to include the characters in a good game because Nintendo would win in that case. Honestly though, Mario, Peach, and Luigi got some sick moves on the court. Number 4, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Okay guys, we need a new game for the PlayStation. What's really hot right now? Oh, Super Smash Bros. Just came out on the Wii. We could get the rights and put it out on the PlayStation. No, that costs too much money. Let's just copy them with our characters. That was the pitch meeting for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. This game is such a ripoff of Smash Bros. You can still see the Smash logo on the title screen. Not really, of course, but who expected PlayStation to put out their own Battle Royale game? Nobody. Nobody expected it, nobody wanted it, asked for it, or even thought about it, but here it is. You can play as Big Daddy, Cole McGrath, Colonel Raddick, Dante, Emmett Greaves, Evil Cole McGrath, Fat Princess, Isaac Clarke, Jackson Dexter, Kratos, Nariko, Nathan Drake, Parappa the Rappa, Raiden, Ratchet and Clank, Sackboy, Sir Daniel Fortesque, Sly Cooper, Spike, Sweet Tooth, Toro and O, and Zeus. Not to mention the final boss of the story mode is Polygon Man from the original PlayStation reveal that got removed entirely. If you want to learn more about Polygon Man, go check out Top 10 Biggest Sony Fails. And at 3, Poker Night at the Inventory. Developed by Telltale Games, Poker Night at the Inventory pits pits you against Tycho from Penny Arcade, Max from Sam & Max, Strong Bad from Homestar Runner, and the Red Heavy from Team Fortress 2 in a riveting game of poker. The game received good reviews and got itself a sequel. The sequel includes Brock Sampson from the Venture Bros, Claptrap from Borderlands, Ash Williams from The Evil Dead, Sam & Max from Sam & Max, GLaDOS from Portal, and her pet turrets. With this wider reach for characters coming from all different kinds of video games, the fact that these characters were brought together was crazy. Nobody expected this game. Telltale making a poker game to including the characters from beloved video games and stories, it's impressive to see what can work so well. The game received an 8 out of 10 on IGN, and fans are still waiting for a third, despite 2 being released in April of 2013. Guys, it's not gonna happen. And at 2, Pokemon Conquest. Pokemon Conquest is a crossover between the Pokemon franchise and Nobuanga's Ambition. Released in 2012 by the Pokemon Company for the Nintendo DS. The player, accompanied by an Eevee, travels through the Ransai region. You befriend Pokemon and battle warriors throughout. While Pokemon is not new to turn-based combat and strategy, the Nobuanaga's Ambition series is about uniting Japan. The game series certainly don't work together, and it wasn't expected for them to cross over because, like, why would you combine a turn-based strategy, tactic role war-playing game with Pokemon? But alas, the game did fairly well, receiving decent reviews and getting a 9 out of 10 on IGN. The game revolved around conquering other kingdoms. But why bring Pokemon into this? I don't understand. Are you supposed to be like a team in this game? Like Team Rocket or Team Magma or Team Galactic? Who honestly knows? I don't know for sure. My brain is absolutely fried. Let's just wrap this up. Finally, taking our number 1 spot, NICKTOONS MLB. NICKTOONS MLB is a baseball game released in 2011 for various consoles. You can play as a plethora of characters from shows like SpongeBob to Fanboy and Chum Chum. The Nickelodeon lineup playing baseball has to be one of the strangest things I've seen to date. Most of these characters aren't in the same universe, and most of them aren't athletic, with some exceptions of course. Some seem like they would be overpowered, like the Flying Dutchman from SpongeBob, Danny Phantom, my personal favorite, and Aang, the Avatar. He could literally flick his finger and get a grand slam, or he could stop the ball in midair and grab it. But of course he won't do that in this game, because he's good and won't cheat. No, it's because it was too much to code, and you know it.
And at number 10, Mario and Sonic at the Olympics. The world's most iconic video game character and mascot combined with the blue hedgehog who briefly gave Nintendo a run for its money. Sorry, Sonic fans. Mario and Sonic at the Olympics seems like an awesome idea at first, and while the series has proven to be filled with plenty of fun mini-games that were incredibly enjoyable and addictive, especially when featuring some of the characters of both the Sonic and Mario universes, the series has lost steam over the years, becoming a bit more redundant as they keep pumping out new games. I mean, there's only so many times that you can play the same sport over and over and over again, but with better graphics. And at number 9, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Perhaps one of the cringiest things that Nintendo has ever done was the Mercedes-Benz DLC for this game. Yes, Mario Kart with the option of driving around in a Mercedes-Benz. And yep, it also felt like a glorified playable car commercial. Despite many a player rolling their eyes, the free DLC did do one neat thing. It introduced the very first real car to ever appear in the Mario Kart series. On the flip side, at least you know the partnership wasn't with a car company like Subaru or Kia. Silver lining? And at number 8, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. This game was Sony's answer to Super Smash Bros., a mashup of all the characters from their greatest hits brawling it out in one big fighting game. It featured the likes of Dante from Devil May Cry, Nathan Drake from Uncharted, Big Daddy from Bioshock, Sackboy from Little Big Planet, Raiden from Metal Gear, and Kratos from God of War. No offense Sony, but really, who stands a fighting chance in a game against Kratos, realistically speaking? Anywho, the game received average to fairly positive reviews, with critics noting that for those who see themselves as PlayStation loyalists, the game was worth trying out, and that overall it was a better play than everyone expected it to be. Always good exceeding expectations, especially when the bar is mildly low. And at number 7, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. The second most recent crossover on this list, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle is a tactical turn-based RPG from Nintendo and Ubisoft. You play as Mario, his friends, and a few Rabbids working together to fix an accidental invasion of the Mushroom Kingdom by the Rabbids, facing off against corrupted Rabbids. When it was initially announced at the 2017 E3, people were seriously hyped, and luckily enough the game panned out, and even scored some awards in the process. Mario creator Miyamoto has said of the game that it was refreshing to see Mario placed in a genre of a game that he had not anticipated before. Ubisoft had developed the prototype, and Nintendo had been pretty jazzed with it. And at number 6, Mortal Kombat vs. the DC Universe. While the Mortal Kombat DC Universe crossover fighting game may not be the most noteworthy when it comes to critical acclaim, the prospect of these two universes colliding was enough to get many a fan on board. But for those who just want a solid fighting game featuring a mashup of beloved characters, this crossover was more than satisfying. Being DC, it also toned down the violence, eliminating the brutal finishers that the Mortal Kombat franchise is known for, opting out for more family-friendly friendly ones. Despite that being a pro for parents who are buying younger players the game, for older fans of both universes, it was a bit of a disappointment. And at number 5, Super Mario Bros. Crossover. The only fan-made game to appear on our list, Super Mario Bros. Crossover is a video game that popped up on Newgrounds in 2010, primarily based on the gameplay of the NES Super Mario Bros. So how's it a crossover? Well, instead of playing only as the game's original characters, you can also control a handful of other game icons: Link, Mega Man, Samus, Bill from Contra, and Simon Belmont from Castlevania. In addition to playing as those characters, you can also use skins of levels from other games of platforms. Critics have called the game a surprisingly thoughtful 8-bit mashup and praised it for its attention to detail. And at number 4, Soul Calibur 2. One of the coolest things that Soul Calibur 2 did was depended on the system that you were playing the game on. Certain characters were made available to you on certain systems. If you were playing on Xbox, you got Spawn. GameCube gave you Link. And for the PS2, you got Heihachi. And it wasn't just tossing characters into the games like some crossovers have done in the past. Each of these characters were woven into the game's story with their own unique specific plot points within the campaign. And at number 3, Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts managed to successfully crossover characters from the worlds of Disney, Final Fantasy, Pixar, and The World Ends With You, all into an RPG franchise that was super cool. Kingdom Hearts managed to blend characters from very different universes in a way that didn't feel forced, all bridged together by themes of friendship and love. It's a formula that has worked for years, and has led to the series selling over 20 million copies worldwide. Up next at 2, Super Smash Bros. Perhaps the most famous video game crossover ever, the Super Smash Bros. Franchise not only fulfilled fans' desires to clash a bunch of iconic characters together in an epic arena duel, but it also almost seamlessly managed to bring these worlds together, without the game turning into a massive clusterfuck. Hell, even Sonic got in on the action too. While most of the characters hail from Nintendo's roster, other favorites like Mega Man have made appearances over the years. Super Smash Bros. Is one of the most balanced fighting game series out there, being incredibly accessible to players of all backgrounds. And last but not least, in at number 1, Fortnite, featuring Thanos. Avengers Infinity War is everything right now. The biggest pop culture phenomenon of this decade, it makes sense that the cross-promotion for the film, and the marketing, would be pretty consuming. The beloved franchise is a money-making machine. While Marvel has its own slew of video games available, the company decided to team up with one of the most popular games these days, Fortnite, and introduced a limited-time mashup. The mode is called Infinity Gauntlet, a solo battle royale mode where you seek out the Infinity Gauntlet, and the first person who gets it transforms into Thanos, who is stacked with abilities that makes the player pretty much invincible. While the character was almost immediately nerfed, the mode has been praised. Not only do you have to worry about other players, but now Thanos has become the biggest threat of all, which adds a whole new dynamic to the game. And dancing Thanos, anybody? Yeah. That is what dreams are made of. And at number 10, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. All-Stars Racing was Sega's attempt at trying to recreate Mario Kart, but with their own properties. And while the game has received decent reviews, the biggest problem with it is that Sega's All-Stars feels a little bit more like D-listers. While Sonic is arguably one of the most popular video game characters of all time, his Sega counterparts feel a little bit more lacking, like Billy Hatcher from Billy Hatcher and the Giant Egg, and Amigo from Samba de Amigo. That being said, the game was fairly stacked with Sonic characters featuring the likes of Tails, Knuckles, Amy Rose, Robotnik, Shadow, Metal Sonic, and even Big the Cat as an option. And at number 9, Sonic - Angry Birds Epic. Moving on to a mobile game, looks like Sega also jumped on the Angry Birds bandwagon, which yes is apparently still a thing. In what some critics have called a failed attempt at being relevant again, the Angry Birds Sonic - Epic game was part of a 3-week limited time promotion in 2013, in which characters from Angry Birds Epic were featured in Sonic Dash. And at number 8, LEGO Dimensions. LEGO Dimensions was a 2015 game that followed the Toys to Life format, which incorporates gameplay and real-life LEGO toys with a USB toy pad. The line has since been cancelled. Back in October 2017, various different DLC and add-on packs were released, including a Sonic one that featured the Hedgehog as a LEGO figure. The game felt like a LEGO-ized 3D version of some classic Sonic levels, jam-packed with familiar faces. Up next at 7, Christmas Nights. Christmas Nights Into Dreams was a promotional sampler disc of the game Nights Into Dreams, created by Sega. In an extra for the game, there's a whole level called Sonic the Hedgehog Into Dreams, where you can play as Sonic, navigating through the festively themed 3D world. It makes sense that a game developed by Sonic Team would feature the famous Hedgehog himself in their games. The character of Knights has also made their own appearances, big and small, in a variety of Sonic games, with the count currently being 19 as of this recording. And at 6, Tamagotchi Park. This 1998 game for the Sega Saturn was titled Sega Saturn de Hakken Tamagotchi Park, and was a 2D Tamagotchi game that allowed players to have Tamagotchis the likes of multiple Sega characters. So of course, that included include Sonic. Known as Sonic Chi, the character was the spitting image of Sonic, and in terms of behavior was pretty impatient and needy. He would also sleep in a ball, which was pretty darn cute. Up next, number 5, Virtua Striker 3. Virtua Striker was a football game series made by Sega that began in 1994. The third game, which came out in 2001, featured a new unlockable team called FC Sonic, which was an entire football team made up of Sonic characters, including Tails, Knuckles, Amy Rose, and Robotnik, who, of course, was the goalkeeper. Even better, the team's manager is Yuji Naka, who was the lead programmer of the original Sonic the Hedgehog series and the former head of Sonic Team. Up next at 4, Fighting Vipers. Ever wanted to play as Sonic in a fighting game? Well, Fighting Vipers, a 3D fighting game developed by Sega AM2 back in 1995, opened up that window of opportunity for you. Initially, Sonic and Tails were put into the game for a good laugh, but after players responded positively to their inclusion, this actually spawned Sega AM2 to commission a Sonic fighting game, known as Sonic the Fighters, which was released in 1996. Up next, number 3, the Sonic Pac-Man mobile crossover. One of the coolest things Sega has done in recent years, this mobile game crossover between Sonic and Pac-Man is as awesome as you'd imagine it to be. Simple and well executed, the crossover involved Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man making an appearance in Sonic Dash, while the Blue Blur made an appearance in the Pac-Man mobile game, which was altered to a Green Hill Zone theme, and allowed you to collect rings instead of dots while going after motobugs instead of ghosts. Unfortunately, this genius crossover was only for a limited time. It ran until March 20th of 2018. Up next at 2, Super Smash Bros. While Super Smash Bros is Nintendo's turf, Sonic is sometimes invited to the party to play. This has been the case with a few Smash Bros titles. His appearance in the series started out as an April Fool's joke by EGM, in which a rumor of Sonic and Tails being unlockable players in the game made the rounds for a while. Eventually in 2007, Sonic made his debut in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and then made a return in Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS and Wii U in 2013, also known as Super Smash Bros. 4. And finally, in at number 1, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Perhaps the most well-known Sonic crossover series of all time, the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games series finally combined the likes of Nintendo's leading mascot, and Sega's pride and joy. Featuring the likes of characters from both video game giant rosters, these sporting crossovers have come under criticism in past years for not satisfying the kind of collaboration that people really would want to see from a crossover featuring these two lifelong rivals, a platformer. Instead, they compete in Olympic events against one another. Now, the games themselves have received decent reviews, but the plots are a bit lacking, and some aspects of the games are a little bit overcomplicated rather than just being a straightforward set of sports minigames. That being said, it is one of the largest, most well-known crossover series in video game history, so something's gotta give there.